you have a term in spiral dynamics, which is becoming a spiral wizard, meaning somebody who can really look at a situation that's stuck, that's problematic, and begin to intervene on a kind of fundamental level and try to shift the dynamics or change the game. So maybe if you could speak a little bit about what's required of an evolutionary leader, and by leader, I'm implicating all of us here, because I feel like everybody who has the leisure time to listen in on this call, and the precious luxury, as you said, of living in this kind of modern Western culture where we have so much at our fingertips. I think we're all called, and I think most people are feeling this, called to some kind of leadership, some kind of active participation in moving the process forward. So what's required of us as leaders now? I think it's different than probably it has ever been.
I think one characteristic that we've seen in our research is the capacity to entertain that all the different value systems that exist today are legitimate, that they are simply the human adaptation to their life conditions. If, on the other hand, we limit ourselves to one viewing platform, and therefore cannot see or understand the passage through the tribal system and why it is what it is, and through the breakout into the egocentric, paragod-driven mindset, and what are the dangers of that, and how that in turn, as we're learning in Palestine, is beginning to see a move into a new ism, a new absolutistic system, and whether that's hostile and anti-Israel will determine whether or not there's going to be peace. And so there is a trajectory beneath us that we have been through theoretically. And so I find that good evolutionary leaders respect that. There's steps and stages that simply have to be encountered.
So you're saying that that for instance, we have human beings spread across a spiral of different levels of development, and to see that, okay, we have people who are at this kind of tribal level of consciousness and valuing. We have people who are at this egocentric level of consciousness and valuing. We have people who are at this sort of absolutistic level of consciousness and values, and not to simply say, they're wrong, we just need to enlighten them with our worldview, but to more understand why they are where they are, and tell me about, because in a certain way what you just described could be an expression of the postmodern value system that says we need to respect all perspectives, pluralism. We just need to respect all perspectives for what they are. Nobody has the truth. There's just your truth and my truth, and yet I hear in the way you're speaking something higher than that. Maybe if you could articulate the difference between simple pluralism that just acknowledges a million different perspectives and makes room for them, and something more integral that you're articulating.
Well, you're correct. That is the difference in postmodern and integral. Postmodern, with its cultural pluralism, will respect all of those, but not sense the vertical evolutionary pathway in them. So we'll therefore, in all good conscience, try to impose education systems, social systems, from a more complex system on these particular trajectories. And then when they fail to live up to it, call them primitive or something, because we weren't sensitive to the fact that they were navigating different passages, which have different characteristics in them. And so to me, the highest level of caring doesn't come out of cultural pluralism. It comes out of the respect for the integrity and the decency to recognize people are what they are, and they're the product of their age and their life conditions, and they need not be negative about that or destructive about that. And so our task then, from an evolutionary perspective, is to build the conduits of transformation, the steps and stages and waves, as they, in a sense, ratchet through those systems. So if we're working on HIV problem, and Barrett Brown and I have written a wonderful piece showing how to talk about HIV problems in these different value system codes. as opposed to the one-size-fits-all car wash, which is too often what we do. And that comes out of what we call orange fifth-level capitals and comes out of Boulder as well, not recognizing the fact that, indeed, humanity is spread along an evolutionary trajectory. So our client becomes not postmodern, but the flow from pre-modern to modern to postmodern to integral, and then to what's next. So we are students of that flow.